Good morning, students. Our today's topic is bryophytes. Bryophytes include the various mosses and liverworts that are found commonly grown in moist, shady areas in the hills. Bryophytes are also called amphibians of plant kingdom because these plants can live in soil but are dependent on water for sexual reproduction. Then why they are known as amphibians? Because for the reproduction, for the sexual reproduction, they require water. So half of their life cycle occurs on the soil and half of the life cycle occurs in the water where the sexual phase occurs. They usually occur in damp, humid, and shady localities. They play an important role in plant succession on bare rocks. The meaning of this is plant succession means evolution. It is considered that earlier only algae were present in the water area, but bryophytes are considered as the first land plants. So they play an important role in the plant evolution. So they play an important role in plant succession, that after bryophytes next pteridophyte comes. So they play an important role in plant succession. Bare means where nothing is grown on the rock. On the plain rock first bryophytes originate. The plant body of bryophyte is more differentiated than the algae. They have thallus-like means in this the plant body, they do not have the true leaves, stem or leaves, but they have thallus-like undifferentiated plant body. Prostate or erect means horizontal or vertical, and attached to the substratum. Attached substratum means any substance by unicellular or multicellular rhizoids. They have rhizoids instead of roots. They have rhizoids. Through rhizoids they are attached to the substratum on which they are present, any substance. They may possess root-like, leaf-like or stem-like structures. True root, stem and leaves are absent, but root-like, stem-like and leaf-like structures are present. The main plant body of bryophyte is haploid, that is n number of chromosomes only. It produces gametes, hence is called gametophyte. The plant body is considered as gametophyte because it produces gametes and haploid organization. The sex organs in bryophytes are multicellular, made up of many cells. The male sex organ is known as antheridium, which produces antherozoids. The antherozoids have biflagellates. Biflagellates means they have two flagella. The female sex organ is called as archegonium and it produces single egg. Archegonium is flask shaped. The antherozoids are released into water where they come in contact with archegonium. The antherozoids, because they have flagella, they can swim and reach up to archegonia. The antherozoid fuses with the egg to produce zygote. Here the zygote do not undergo reduction immediately. In algae, the zygote undergo meiosis division immediately, but in bryophytes it does not undergo meiosis immediately, so it produces a multicellular body called sporophyte. The sporophyte is not free living but is attached to the gametophyte. Because gametophyte is photosynthetic, green in color, so sporophyte remain attached to the gametophyte. Just see figure 3.2. Funaria is shown in C diagram. Lower part is gametophyte, that is green leafy structure, that is gametophyte. Above that gametophyte, sporophyte is attached to the gametophyte. Sporophytes take its nutrition from the gametophyte only and remain attached to the gametophyte for some time and derives nourishment from it. Some cells of sporophyte undergoes reductional division. After some time, the reductional division occurs, meiosis occurs, which produces haploid spores. These spores germinate to produce again the gametophyte. I will show the life cycle afterwards. The bryophytes in journal are of little economic importance. This paragraph is about the economic importance of bryophytes. Can be asked for 2 marks or 3 mark question. But some mosses provide food for herbaceous mammals, birds, and other animals. So, first point, they provide food for herbaceous mammals. They provide peat that has been long used as fuel and as a packing material for transshipment of living materials because of their capacity to hold water. So they can also, moss can also be used as a packing material for transferring the material because it can hold some water. And can be act as fuel also when in dry condition. Mosses along with lichen are the first organisms to colonize rocks and are of great ecological importance. Mosses like algae when combines with fungi they form lichen. They are also attached to the rocks. Similarly, the mosses are considered as the first plants which originates on the rocks. They decompose rocks, making the substrate suitable for the growth of higher plants. They secrete some chemicals which decomposes the rocks and which provides the soil for the higher plants. They decompose the rocks, make the soil, and that soil is suitable for the growth of higher plants. Since mosses form dense mat on the soil, they reduce the impact of falling rain and prevent soil erosion. The bryophytes are divided into 2 parts, liverworts and mosses. Now first, liverworts. Example is Markensia as shown in figure 3.2, Markensia female thallus and male thallus. They grow usually in moist, shady habitats such as in the banks of streams, marshy ground, damp soil, bark of tree, and deep in woods. The plant body of a liverwort is thalloid. Again, not differentiated, not true. Stem, leaves, and roots are present. Example of liverwort is Markensia. The thallus is dorsiventral and closely appressed to the substrate. Dorsiventral means upper side is dorsal and lower side is the ventral. So that is from there dorsally ventrally appressed means attached to the substratum. The leafy member have tiny leaf-like appendages in 2 rows on the stem. On the stem, small leaf-like structures are present. Asexual reproduction in liverworts takes place by fragmentation or by the formation of special structures called gemmae. Gemmae are the circular structures as shown in figure 3.2a, gemma cup. Gemmae are the present inside the gemmae cup-like structures in which gemmae are present. Gemmae are green, multicellular, asexual buds which develop in small receptacles called gemmae cup located on the thalli. Thalli means thallus. The gemmae become detached from the parent body and germinate to form new individuals. These gemmae, they detach means fall from the thallus, fall on the suitable substratum and grow into the new individual. During sexual reproduction, male and female organs are produced, sometimes on the same thallus and sometimes on the different thallus. The sporophyte in them is differentiated into 3 parts, that is foot, seta and capsule. In the diagram 3.2c funaria, they have shown the foot, seta and capsule. Foot is the place where it is attached to the gametophyte. Seta, a long tube-like structure, and above swollen capsule in which spores are produced. After meiosis, spores are produced within the capsule. These spores germinate to form free living gametophytes because meiosis occurs Now these spores are haploid in number and they grow into the new gametophytes. Next is mosses. The predominant stage of life cycle of moss is a gametophyte because they are n in number, which consists of two stages. The first stage is the Protonema stage, which develops directly from the spore. So when the spore germinate, a small tube-like structure comes that is known as Protonema. It is creeping, green, branched and frequently filamentous stage. So Protonema is green in color, branched and filament-like structure. After that, the second stage is the leafy stage, which develops from the secondary Protonema as a lateral bud. From the Protonema, then secondary Protonema develops, more branching, then secondary Protonema develops, and then a leafy stage develops from the secondary Protonema. They consist of upright slender axes bearing spirally arranged leaves. On the secondary Protonema, vertically upward, leaf-like arrangement appears. They are attached to the soil through multicellular and branched rhizoids. Rhizoids, they act as roots. This stage bears the sex organs. The leafy stage, it bears the sex organ. So in mosses, first Protonema that develops from spore, then Protonema divides many times, secondary Protonema is formed, lateral bud is formed. From that is now leafy structure. Again the upright structure, leafy structure is formed. On that leafy structure, sex organs are formed. That is, now it is mature and now sex organs are formed on this. Vegetative reproduction in mosses is by fragmentation and budding in the secondary Protonema. So secondary, from the fragmentation or on the budding of secondary Protonema, this vegetative reproduction occurs. In sexual reproduction, the sex organs Antheridia and Archegonia are produced at the apex of the leafy shoot. After fertilization, zygote develops into a sporophyte, which consists of three parts: foot, seta and capsule. The sporophyte consists of three parts: foot, which is attached to the gametophyte, seta, tube-like structure, and capsule. The sporophyte in mosses is more elaborate. Now, what is the difference between the liverworts and mosses? The sporophyte in mosses is more elaborate than in liverworts. It takes more time. The sporophyte of mosses, it takes more time, remain attached to the gametophyte as compared to liverworts. The capsule contains spores. Spores are formed after meiosis. Same. The mosses have an elaborate mechanism of spore dispersal. So common example of mosses is Funaria, Sphagnum, etc. So important part in this is what is the economic importance of bryophyte, what is the explain the life cycle of bryophyte, and what is liverworts, right? The features of liverworts, or what are the features of mosses? These are the important questions. So I hope this is clear. If you have any doubt, you can ask me on my WhatsApp number. This is the life cycle of bryophytes. So first, asexual reproduction. First, bryophytes can reproduce by buds. In the secondary Protonema, some buds appear which can give rise to the new organism. Bryophytes can reproduce by Protonema also. Protonema is the structure which develops from the spore. It is a filamentous leafy structure and can give rise to a new organisms. Gemmae, it is another mode of asexual reproduction in bryophytes. Gemmae are produced in the gemmae cups. They fall from the thallus and grow into the new individual. Fragmentation is also one of the asexual mode of reproduction in bryophytes. Here they break into different fragments and can grow into the new individuals. Then now the sexual reproduction in bryophytes. In the bryophytes, male and female sex organs are present. Male organ is known as antheridium, and female sex organ is known as archegonium. In the antheridium, antherozoids are produced, and in the archegonium, egg or ovum is produced. Antherozoids are released into the water, and after fertilization with the egg, they produce zygote. All these structures are n in number, that is haploid in number. Here plant body also is haploid. After fusion, zygote is formed, which is diploid. The zygote grows in size, produces embryo and sporophyte. The sporophyte remain attached to the gametophyte, remain attached to the plant body. And in the sporophyte, spore mother cells are present where the meiosis occurs, which produces spores. And then these spores germinate and produce the haploid plant body. So here some part of the life cycle is haploid and some part is diploid. So here alternation of generation is present where haploid generation alternates with the diploid and diploid alternates with the haploid. So this type of life cycle is known as haplodiplonic life cycle. Haplo means haploid, diplonic means diploid. So in the life cycle of bryophytes, both haploid and diploid phase is present. That is known as haplodiplonic life cycle. Hope this is clear. Thank you.